You know, something incredible is happening at the very top of our world. A new ocean is literally being born. As all that Arctic ice melts away, it's not just revealing water. Nope. It's uncovering brand new shipping routes, a treasure trove of untapped resources, and a new battleground for global powers. A struggle that's been kind of dormant for decades is flaring up big time. And right at the heart of it all, one massive icy island. Remember back in 2019 when the world just kind of stopped and scratched its head? That's when then President Donald Trump said he wanted to buy Greenland. A lot of people just laughed it off, right? Like some bizarre real estate fantasy. But here's the thing. Recent events suggest there's way more to it than that. In fact, it might just be one of the most important geopolitical signals of our entire century. So that's the big question we're going to tackle in this explainer. Was Trump's idea just a weird whim? Or was he giving us a peek into a really high-stakes future, one where the world's superpowers are scrambling for control of the Arctic? Okay, so to really get what's happening now, we've got to look back. Because as it turns out, this is not the first time the United States has looked at Greenland and seen a critical strategic asset. So what is Greenland? Well, it's the world's largest island, but that's a bit misleading. A staggering 80% of it is covered by this massive ice sheet. And the population? Just 56,000 people. So its value has never, ever been about its cities. It's always been about its location, location, location. Think about it. During the Cold War, Greenland was basically America's unsinkable aircraft carrier in the Arctic. The US built these critical military bases and radar systems there, all pointed north. Why? Well, it was the shortest flight path for a potential Soviet nuclear attack coming over the pole. For decades, Greenland was absolutely essential. But then, the Berlin Wall fell, the Soviet Union collapsed, and that strategic urgency just faded away. Greenland pretty much fell off the Pentagon's radar. But now, that interest is roaring back and with a vengeance. So, what changed? What brought Greenland back into the spotlight? The planet itself. You see, the great melt happening in the Arctic isn't just an environmental story. It's a geopolitical one. A whole new ocean, with a new set of rules, is literally emerging from the ice. And this isn't some slow, gradual thing we'll deal with centuries from now. No way. The Arctic is warming at a staggering rate. We're talking 4 times faster than the rest of the world. This incredible thought is physically redrawing the map and unlocking places that were totally inaccessible just a few years ago. And what's being unlocked is, well, it's worth a fortune. We're talking estimates that put the value of newly accessible mineral resources somewhere between $1.5 and $2 trillion. That's trillion with a T. But hold on, this isn't about finding gold or diamonds. The real treasure here is something called rare earth metals. Names like neodymium and dysprosium. They might sound obscure, but trust me, they're the absolute key ingredients for our entire green energy revolution. You need them for the powerful magnets in electric car motors and wind turbines. So the country that secures a stable supply of these, they control a critical choke point for all of 21st century technology. Now, with stakes this high, you better believe the world's great powers are making their moves. A new race for the Arctic is officially on, and the competition is heating up just as fast as the climate. And Russia? They were the first to really see which way the wind was blowing. They've declared the Arctic a top strategic priority. They've built hundreds of new military sites up there, and they've deployed these advanced nuclear submarines that can hide right under the ice. They are not waiting around, folks. They are actively working to dominate this new frontier. Then you've got China. Now, China is thousands of miles away, but it has declared itself a near-Arctic state. Yeah, it's a controversial claim, but it's one they're backing up with a massive project, partnering with Russia. It's called the Polar Silk Road. And the goal? To forge entirely new shipping lanes right across the top of the world. And you have to understand, this new route is a total game changer for China. Look at the traditional shipping lanes. They go through choke points like the Suez Canal and the Malacca Strait. Those are all areas where the US Navy has major influence. But the Arctic route? It's not only up to a third shorter, which saves a ton of time and money. It completely bypasses that American military oversight. It gives China a faster and a much more secure path for all its trade. And they're not being shy about their ambitions. Back in 2018, China laid out its official policy. They want to help build the trade routes. They want to participate in mining for oil, gas, and all those minerals. They want to secure a share of the fishing industry. They even want to develop tourism. It's a full-spectrum plan to become a major player in the region. Okay, so you have Russia militarizing the Arctic and China building an economic superhighway through it. So, what about the United States? How is Washington responding? Well, after years of basically ignoring the region, the US is finally waking up to the threat. The American response has been this rapid fire series of moves, almost like a strategic scramble to catch up. It all started with Trump's first offer in 2019. A year later, the US reopened its consulate in Greenland's capital, a consulate that had been closed since 1953. That's a huge diplomatic signal. And just this year, America signed an ice pact with Canada and Finland to start building more icebreakers together. See, icebreakers are the heavy-duty ships you absolutely need to project power in the frozen north. Without them, you're just a spectator on the sidelines. And that brings us right back to where we started. When Trump recently brought up buying Greenland again, this time even suggesting force might be an option, well, it wasn't just some weird headline anymore. When you look at it in this new context, it's a clear signal. It's an attempt to make a decisive, powerful move to secure American dominance in the Arctic before its rivals lock it down first. So, what we're all witnessing right now is the birth of a brand new geopolitical reality. The fight for influence at the top of the world is defining a new and you could say ice-cold chapter in international relations. But here's the thing. The great powers aren't the only players here. There's a major wild card, the people of Greenland themselves. There's a growing independence movement that's looking to break away from Denmark. And if that happens, well, it could put a newly sovereign Greenland in an incredibly powerful position, choosing its own global partners, maybe even auctioning off access and resources to the highest bidder. It adds a huge layer of unpredictability to this whole game. You know, the ultimate takeaway here is pretty profound. For decades, we've talked about global warming as a consequence of our actions, but now it's become a primary cause of global conflict. The very nations whose industrialization caused the melting are now racing to fight over the spoils being revealed beneath the ice. This whole process is reshaping our world, physically and politically. And Greenland is right at the epicenter. And it leaves us with one crucial, chilling question for the future. As the world's freezer continues to melt, who gets to claim what's inside?